What's the deal, everybody? Yusuf Smith here, real estate investor. Today, we're going to talk about why you need a management company for your rental properties. So today we're going to talk about 5 reasons you should use a management company to manage your rental properties in real estate. Now, these are 5 reasons that I learned the hard way. I talk a lot about my personal real estate investing experiences, and I went through these 5 reasons the hard way. I don't want you to go through them the hard way. I want you to go straight to having a property management company manage your real estate and you being successful and focusing on buying properties other than managing your tenants. So the first thing that I want you to understand is evictions. Evictions take time. If you have to do evictions yourself, it's taking time away from you buying real estate. In the beginning, I would do evictions myself. Now, no one likes evictions. I never like displacing a family or an individual from a place that they've been living. It's heartbreaking. But evictions are a necessary part of real estate investing. I use a management company to do that now, but they take time. So in the beginning, I would have to, when a tenant would not be paying rent, I would have to send them what they call a pay or quit notice, would send them a certified letter notifying them of a possible eviction if they don't pay rent. After that, you have to file with the court. You have to fill out a form and file a formal eviction with the court. The court will set a court date for you and the tenant to appear in court, which means you've had to spend time mailing out this letter. You've had to spend time, possibly a half a day in court, which is really going to take up your whole day. If you have to spend a half a day in court, that's going to take up your whole day, which it did mine. You go through the trial. Maybe the tenant decides that they can pay part of the rent and maybe you accept that. You go back and forth with the tenant, or maybe the judge rules that an eviction should take place. After that, you have to send the tenant a letter saying that the eviction is going to take place on a certain date. You send out that letter, and then either the tenant leaves, or if they do not leave, then you have to schedule with the sheriff to come out to evict the tenant. These are a lot of processes. They take up a lot of your time. And a management company, they do this all of the time. So they can do this much more quickly, much more efficiently than you. Now, you're still managing the management company. You still have the opportunity to give some lenience to the tenant if you like, if you feel that they can still pay, or if you want to work with them, that's fine. But you are not doing that work. The management company is. And the next reason is collecting rents. Collecting rents is easier now than it used to be, but when I first started, collecting rents meant I would have to either have the tenant mail a check to me, or I would have to go out and physically collect the rent from the property. So when I first started, at that time, I was renting out 2 or 3 properties. I would have to drive to 2 or 3 different locations to pick up the rent physically. And there are several challenges. I may go through some of those stories in another video, but collecting rent is much easier with your management company. They send the check, or they go online to an online portal and they make the payments through the online portal. Now, there are ways that you can do that yourself, but the management company also they collect that rent, but they have an accounting of the rent over time, and they're able to manage that accounting, income, expenses, and things, and you can follow along with that. but they're much more efficient at it than you are, which that should not be a part of your time. Your time should be, again, finding new properties to buy. And the next strategy, or the next reason why you should use a management company, is raising rents. Again, in the beginning, raising rents was a tough decision for me. I would leave the rents extremely low, which any business knows you cannot do that. You cannot pay more for your product than your end buyer is. You can't do that. You can't be spending more money than is coming in. And raising rents is a necessary part of real estate investing. Taxes go up, materials, building goes up, repair costs go up. This is something that the tenant has to account for as well. So you have to raise your rents. And it is much easier when you have a management company in between you and your tenant, and you can raise the rents through your management company. Now, the management company, again, they do this all the time. They're much more efficient. They are able to maybe send out a letter quickly to the tenant, letting them know that their rent may be increasing, and then the tenant can make that decision. Also, in the beginning, I was afraid that the tenant would move out. If I raise the rents any little bit, I may lose the tenant. And then my mind goes down the rabbit hole of, if I lose my tenant, I'm going to lose my income. How long am I going to have a vacant property? And all of that. With a management company, after you've checked them out, any decent management company, they're going to have you a tenant in there pretty quickly. You're not going to be sitting there, in most cases, years or several months at a time. That was my fear. But that is something that I've learned that really is not the case. In most cases, you're able to get a tenant in pretty quickly. And that's also a reason for keeping a reserve, so that in case by some chance you do have some months that you have to go without rent, you have a reserve, a backup reserve to account for that. But that is not a reason not to raise rents if it is appropriate. If you've determined that other rents in the area are higher than yours and you have some room to rent, to raise the rents, then you should be doing that in order to continue to stay in business. No business can stay in business without increasing their prices over time. Repair costs. Repairs is another reason. You don't want to be getting calls from tenants, again, at 10 o'clock at night to come out and fix the toilet, or to, that's the cliche that you're going to get calls to fix the toilet, to fix the air conditioning, the plumbing, what have you. And I would get those calls when I was managing myself, but I would rarely, if ever, would go straight out there. I would, go out the next day, or to go out and I would still, in most cases, I would call a company to go out there and do the repair, because I'm not a repair person. I'm a real estate investor. And even though in the beginning I used to do some of that, that has never been something that I do. And I don't recommend that you do it either, unless it's something that you really enjoy doing. If you really enjoy doing repairs and you're handy, that's okay, that's fine. Continue to do that. But a management company is much more efficient at that. They have a list of repair persons that they can go through and call for any reason. They send out the repair person. In most cases, you may not even know until there is an actual cost. And then your management company will let you know, hey, there's a cost to this. If it's a high cost, then they will let you know. And you make that decision whether you want to do that repair, replacement, or whatever the case may be. But it's not you going out to the property. It is the management company that is managing that. Scaling up. This is when you want to grow your real estate investing portfolio. It is very hard to grow your real estate investing portfolio if you are managing several properties yourself. Can you imagine a large property company with 1,000 units, with one person managing 1,000 units by themselves? Can you imagine that? That would be a terrible situation. Again, if you have 100 units, that's probably the most that I've heard of any investor managing personally themselves. If you enjoy that, if that is something that you like doing, by all means continue doing that. Again, I don't see going, if you're looking to build your business, to build wealth, having 1,000 units and managing them yourself would be a nightmare. So you need a management company so that when you buy a property, you hand that property off to a management company. They do the managing, you manage the management company. Now, I'm going to do a series of other videos on property management, because there are some things that you have to know when hiring a property management company. It's not, you don't take your hands completely off the wheel. You do have to manage the management company. But again, it is much easier, much more efficient, a better way to run your business to have a management company. So I hope you guys like this video and are able to get some information from it. Again, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, follow me on any other channel that you find me on, and I will see you guys in the next video.